I didn't hear any testimony about a bloody shirt today. My laptop froze up a couple of times. It would play for 40 minutes or so, and then it would freeze up. But while I was listening and watching, I didn't hear anything said about a bloody shirt. It may have been. Stephanie might know better than I do. God help the Jackson family. They've just been put through a gut-wrenching event in 04, 05 that dragged on for 2 years that destroyed Michael. And, they were bringing so many fake, phony felonies against Michael, plus 4 misdemeanors. And here, a man that's trusted to take care of Michael for $150,000 a month, which contract was never signed, so the contract isn't really a contract. And he was just sort of on temporary status to see if Michael was going to like the way he administered propofol. I think I have to acknowledge in all this that Michael made a serious mistake in even messing with propofol. He would have been better off to have his driver go out and get a couple of 6-packs of beer and just get stone drunk on beer. And I know, being raised a Jehovah's Witness, that's not acceptable to Michael. It just wasn't in his frame of mind. I know that. But I'm saying Michael would have been better off just to get a couple of beers and sit down with his brother or sister or the security guard and just say, let's shoot the breeze and have a couple of beers till he got relaxed enough. This propofol is a highly dangerous commodity and extremely dangerous if it's not done in a hospital or a clinic where you have continual supervision. That all said, it doesn't excuse the doctor. Clearly, the doctor should have said no to Michael. I can't do this except if you want to go to a clinic and do your sleeping in a clinic where we have a nurse and somebody watching. On the doctor's defense side, early in today's, you saw this happy smiling face from AEG. This lady is writing the contracts to make it perfect for everybody. And her testimony was that he was trying to get emergency resuscitation. Now keep in mind, he hadn't been paid $1 yet. He hadn't got paid anything yet. He was just trying out to be Michael's O2 doctor. But he was negotiating this contract with this woman from AEG. And AEG was apparently, from the testimony I heard, the way I interpreted it, AEG was getting a little bit nervous, like, why are you even asking about this kind of resuscitation equipment? Isn't Michael healthy and ready to do the tour? It looked like they may have been wanting to back off on the insurance. So these are the things that I saw and observed. There was another incident. There was a Michael Jackson fanatic, a woman, who brought a 2-year-old up to the 9th floor. And the kid was pretty well behaved for about 3 hours. And then it started making a lot of noise. And the bailiffs threatened to arrest this Michael Jackson fan, female bailiffs. And she tried to keep the toddler quiet. And it got to the point she got ugly with the bailiffs and said something to their face, well, I'm going to get you, and you can't treat me this way, and you're in part of the murdering of Michael Jackson. And then she came over to where I was sitting, talked to a lady sitting next to me, another fan, and said, they're going to arrest me today. And then she got ugly to this female sheriff's deputy there on the 9th floor. And I finally said, look, calm down. I whispered in her ear, look, if you let them arrest you because you refuse to leave, your child is going to Child Protective Services for 35 days and longer. You may never see your toddler again. They'll say you're an unfit mother for even bringing the child here. Then you'll have a couple of felonies against you. And I tried to persuade her, and I did persuade her. She went outside. Larry Nimmer, who's also from Santa Barbara County, was there, and he got an interview with you, and I think we'll see that on Larry Nimmer's internet space sometime down the road. But I think I saved that lady from having her child taken permanently because she was getting ugly with these bailiffs, and they were getting to the point where, lady, you better leave now because we're getting tired of it. So those things you won't see on CNN or ABC or Fox News. Hi, Debbie Looney. Oh, the other one's Faith. Thank you, Steffi. Yeah, somebody was making jokes today in the hallway. Some other Jackson fans got in their face. It's like, there's nothing funny here. That did happen. Oh, with the lady almost getting her kid, that was in the afternoon. I think it was right after the last afternoon break. I think that's when it happened. Larry Nimmer will have it time coded on his interview with her, because as they escorted her out, he then interviewed her. Do I think Michael's alive? I believe the spirit of Michael is alive. I believe the soul of Michael is everywhere in all those that want peace and joy and happy dancing and good things to happen in this world. But as to the physical body of Michael, until somebody shows me some really hard evidence, I do believe Michael is buried somewhere. He may not be exactly at the spot at Holly Terrace they say he is. If he was my brother or my son, I would not say this is exactly right here. This is where Michael's buried, and put his name on it. I would say he's in there, over there, but I'd probably bury him down on a different wing without a nameplate until things settle down. Because there are crazy people out there, believe it or not, that would go out and steal a dead body just to open the casket to see if it's really Michael. There are crazy people out there, especially in California. So no, I don't think Michael's alive physically in the body, but I like to think of this world as we're not human beings that once in a while have a spiritual awakening. I like to think we're spiritual beings that have inculcated ourselves in human bodies to have some kind of test or transference, and that we're not going to stay in these human bodies forever. And it's because of the corruption of this world, our bodies get old and age and wear out. And then we go back to being our spiritual self without the mask, without the covering of the body. That's what I believe. Just since somebody was interested. You that looked at my other video clips, you know I've done a lot of interviews and a lot of stuff on Child Protective Services and how they kidnap children and then lie in court and lie and lie and lie. And that woman, there's no question in my mind. I understand she needed to chill out, and she's stressed because Michael's dead and she doesn't want him to be dead. There's millions of people that don't want him to be dead, including me. I still wish Michael and I could have sat down and shot the breeze some evening. Turns out we both love dancing. We both are into genealogy. We both are opposed to war and killing. I didn't realize this in '05, but I'm finding out as I go along. We had a lot of common interests. Well, there's several forest lawns. There's Forest Lawn in Glendale. Then there's Forest Lawn right behind Griffith Park, which is a different. And then there's a Forest Lawn of Los Angeles. There's a lot of different forest lawn cemeteries. This is the big corporation. They have a lot of land. But he's in the Glendale Forest Lawn, supposedly in a mausoleum called Holly Terrace. And I've put videotape up of people leaving flowers there quite a few times. Yeah, that's a good point. They didn't do that to Elvis, but I think it was President Ulysses S. Grant's body was stolen. And to this day, there's still some question as to where the real body of President Ulysses S. Grant is, the Civil War general and later president. So there's crazy people out there that do crazy things. I know there's a group of fans that believe that if they could touch Michael, his body, they will get some great spiritual power, and then the power will help resurrect Michael. And I don't even interview these people. I'm just letting you know there's a wide gamut of Michael Jackson fans. And I really didn't even want to cover this case because I believe this case is rigged, just as rigged as our 2008 presidential elections were rigged. The outcome is already pretty well decided. He'll either be found not guilty, which I think that's not really possible, but he will be found guilty of involuntary manslaughter, and I don't think he'll get 4 years. I think he'll get 1 to 3 years, and he'll get almost immediate probation or parole and be wearing an ankle bracelet, and then they'll say, well, he's been a good person, he hasn't done any more harm, and they'll cut his sentence off halfway. If he's sentenced to 2 years, he'll only serve 1. If they give him 18 months, he'll only serve 9. And almost none of it, I think, will be in a jail. Unless something comes out, and here's what might come out. What might come out is that there were other drugs available in that bedroom that Michael could have got his hands on, and that were easily accessible to him, and the doctor somehow is responsible for Michael getting out of bed in a drowsy state, because they're saying the 130 milligrams of propofol wasn't enough to put him to sleep. But it might have been enough to impair his judgment, and he gets out of bed, stumbles around, grabs some other pills, sticks it in his, and then I think he also had a permanent place of insertion just above his ankle, one of his ankles, and he might have hooked himself up, not being in a clear head because he's already got some propofol in him, and then they would blame him for all these circumstances. What was really, I didn't tell you this, what was really set me back is there were 5 or 6 people out there today that were for Conrad Murray, and they were holding signs. Give Conrad Murray a chance. Listen to the evidence. Little signs, not really huge like the Michael Jackson fans had. But I was shocked to see those people out there saying, basically defending Conrad Murray. And tomorrow I'll have a report of what my assistant here followed one of those people to see where they're from and what they're up to. So I think that's about all I can think of right now. I'm very tired. I didn't get enough sleep last night. I had to get up at 6 this morning to get there, and my raffle ticket was not successful today either. But maybe tomorrow I'll get lucky and get in the courtroom, because I would like to study the jury's faces. You can tell a lot, because when things get gripping, even a stone-faced juror can have a hard time hiding his feelings on his face and what he's thinking. You can sometimes read it off his face.